Everybody, hope everyone is doing well and everyone had a wonderful Pesach. It's good to be back, so to speak, and hopefully, Be'ezras Hashem, we will continue learning together on a weekly basis. How many times will you find the word quarantine in the stone chumash on the English side of the page? I'm not sure, but it does come up in Parshas Tazria. This week is a double Parsha, Tazria, Metzora, and certainly it is no coincidence that the Parsha speaks about quarantine, what to do in isolation, both in Parshas Tazria and in Parshas Metzora. And I would like to analyze one part of Parshas Tazria, Perek Yud Gimel, Pasuk Hey. The Torah describes a man who has some form of white lesion on the skin, and it's known as a baheres. And the Torah says that the Kohen analyzes this person, and he has to be put in quarantine for 7 days to see if it spreads. If the person if his lesion spreads, the person will be declared tameh. So what happens? The Kohen looks at this man after 7 days, and what does he notice? He sees the lesion, the baheres, did not spread. So logically, I would have concluded the pasuk. So therefore, the man is tahor, he's pure, because it didn't get any worse. However, that's not what the Torah says. Since the lesion did not spread, okay, he's not tameh, but he's not tahor either. He needs to be quarantined a second time for a second 7-day period. And then the Kohen goes on. The Ra Kohen also be on the second 7th day. So now, after the second week of quarantine, he looks again. Only if it dimmed. So the Kohen can only declare this person pure, not if it doesn't spread, only if the lesion gets smaller. And what we learn from here is that quarantine is not supposed to lead to a neutral reaction. When you go into quarantine one way and you come out the same way, it's simply not good enough. The Torah is explicitly stating that a baheres needs to not remain the same size, but it needs to get more dim. And if after a week of quarantine it hasn't gotten any better, you go back for a second week. And I think the point is clear, that when the Ribbono Shel Olam is telling us to remain quarantined, he is not looking for us to come out the same way that we went in. Certainly the Torah wants us to leave a little bit more dim. Obviously what that means is that we should be working on our midos. I want to analyze one little part. I would imagine that when we go to shul on Shabbos, there are people we're very excited to see, like the rabbi or the assistant rabbi, and it's very exciting to see our friends and neighbors. However, there might be some people in shul we're less excited to see. And if that beheres, so to speak, if that negative midah has not yet changed, so perhaps the Ribbono Shel Olam is waiting for us to be that much more excited to see those people in shul who we were not excited to see before quarantine. The halacha in Shulchan Aruch, based on the Gemara in Brachos, Siman Reish Chav Hey Sif Aleph, Haroa Es Chaveiro Le'achar Shloshim Yom Omar She'achiyanu. If you have not yet seen your friend in 30 days, you recite a bracha of She'achiyanu upon seeing that individual. You should be excited. I haven't seen you in 30 days. I wasn't sure. How were you? I didn't hear from you. I was worried about you. And you should be so excited to see a fellow that you haven't seen in 30 days that it actually warrants a bracha with the name of Hashem. Practically speaking, we don't really recite the bracha with Hashem's name anymore because we would be informed if there was an issue in the community. So, and certainly nowadays with phones and all sorts of communication, we are very much in touch with people even if we don't actually see them. So practically speaking, the bracha is rarely recited. However, the idea is still all that much true. The halacha is telling us that you should be excited to see someone you haven't seen. We know that the Talmidei Rabbi Akiva did not treat each other with the proper kavod this time of year. And the job that we have nowadays is to come out of quarantine not only the same way, but a little bit stronger, a little bit better, and perhaps specifically more excited to make that She'achiyanu, although not technically in reality, but maybe internally. And we should be that much more excited to greet one another, good Shabbos, or good Yom Tov, whatever it may be in the near future. B'meir B'meinu, Be'ezras Hashem. Have a wonderful Shabbos.